of me?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do. You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
What's up, film fans? Happy Wednesday, moviegoers. Welcome to episode 281. Welcome to A Good Person. And you are listening to the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I'm your host, Juan, and I'm joined by the cast, the crew, the good people. Zach? He's so good, he's frozen in time. Edward?
Hey, what's up, folks?
Craig?
Yo.
Gregory.
What a week it's been, guys. It's been fun. Craig, we'll start with you, man. How's your week been?
Week's been busy. Getting ready for the birthday month.
Oh boy, yeah.
I know a few of you know. I got like 7 birthdays in February. Yeah.
So this might be the last time we see Craig till maybe the first week of March.
No,
because
I might have some. I'll have to message you, but I might have some issues. Yeah, my daughters, my brothers, my father-in-law, my grandmother on Mallory's side, Mallory's, my brother-in-law, Super Bowl, all in the shortest month of the year.
Speaking of Super Bowl, guys, we are by the time you hear us this Sunday, we'll be a week away from the Super Bowl. This is our last Wednesday episode, guys. So for everybody watching live on Facebook and Imasawa Productions YouTube channel, this is the last Wednesday. Starting this Sunday, February 4th, we're going to go to 7 p.m. If you guys want to watch us live, if you guys want to listen to us, we'll still be... Yeah.
Anytime.
You can listen. Brand new episodes are going to still pop up audio-wise out there in podcast land on Sunday nights, Monday mornings. So you can listen to us a whole few days earlier than Wednesdays now. But Super Bowl set, it's a rematch from a few years ago, 49ers, Kansas City Chiefs. Let's throw out predictions already. Who's taking it?
I'll take Taylor Swift at 6.5 on the over of amount of times that she's shown on the TV. There's no line in Vegas, but there should be, and I'm taking the over.
Did you see both flights, or there's several flights that are actually labeled 1989?
We're asking who's taking the game. Edward wants to talk flights.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what the fuck?
Give me... San Fran 31-23.
Everybody, Craig's been picking this year, has been losing, so I'm going Kansas City 27-16. Kansas City. Zach, we're doing Super Bowl picks. Ed, who you picking?
I'm going to go ahead and pick San Francisco 49ers.
Even though you look like Travis Kelce.
Jason Kelce?
Jason Kelce.
Or Jason, yeah.
So San
we
Fran's
both hairy, so
San Fran's got the win for Ed. Zach, what about you?
I'm going to go Chiefs, Kansas City.
So me and Zach picked the Chiefs. You guys picked the 49ers.
That's just
a couple of
Swifties
over there.
This is true. She's on the playlist. So, but guys, if you did not join us last week, we talked about the 34-year-old movie that is Edward Scissorhands. It turns 34 this year. Me and Zach had a fun conversation about it. Go back and listen to our good conversation about Johnny Depp, Tim Burton. And we even talked our top 5 movies we can't wait to see this 2024 year. So it was a fun list. Go back and listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts at. You can also check out all of our links on the social media pages. Facebook.com/the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. Instagram /the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. X is Cinnamon405. The old email bag is cinemeni921 @gmail.com. I was just able to log back into the emails this week, so I will knock out some of those and we'll answer them next week when we talk all about Casablanca live this Sunday. Oh, and if you're listening to this or watching this Thursday morning, I'm going to be giving away a digital copy of A Good Person. So you can listen to us talk about the movie, and then you can try to win a digital copy all this week. Let's start off with some recent watches. Ed, we didn't talk to you last week. Do you recommend anything, or are you still going through your binge watch of Vampire Diaries?
Still going through that thing. We're midway through season 5 now. I did get to watch one movie, however. I will recommend it. I don't care if it's kids. I don't care if it's adults. I don't care if it's the whole family. Leo.
Bro.
Adam Sandler, Bill Burr, about a lizard, a tuatara lizard, and a turtle or a tortoise. And they're just chilling in a, 5th grade class. And it kind of goes on.
Everybody takes the animals home every other week or something. Yeah, it's a pretty good movie.
Dude, it's good. It's lighthearted. It doesn't have any. I mean, it has a few little adult jokes, not really huge though.
In there.
Yeah, but I mean, it's Adam Sandler. Like, come on, man. Yeah. But at the end of it all,
pretty tame for Adam Sandler.
Dude, seriously. At the end of it all, it's a pretty good movie. I would definitely give it a high recommendation of 9 out of 10 easily.
Yeah. So it's surprising. Mallory came home one day and she was like, "There's a movie we should watch." And yeah, it was Leo.
So we plugged in Netflix to the living room TV. We were going through it and all that stuff and seeing that it was an Adam Sandler flick and was just like, okay, hopefully it's not too big or not too whatever. Because if it's like 8 Crazy Nights, us and the nephew, we're going to shut it off. But if it's cool, then cool. And yeah, he's in 1st grade. So spent the weekend and he watched it 3 times within that weekend. So
I didn't have too much of a week. I checked out The Creator, getting ready for an episode with you guys here in a few weeks. I watched Contact, the Alien movie, for the first time with Matthew McConaughey and Jodie Foster. It's directed by the same guy who directed Forrest Gump.
Robert Zemeckis. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen it, Zach? Has anybody seen Contact? It's 2 hours and 30 minutes. You're either going to like it or you're going to want to blow your goddamn head off. The Equalizer 3. It's probably the worst of the 3. It's not a very good, fun movie. Checked out Roadhouse just because the new trailer for, the Jake Gyllenhaal movie came out, and I had to go watch me some Patrick Swayze. That's always a fun classic.
GSP's in that thing.
Checked out A Good Person for this episode. But the thing I want to recommend is Bye Bye Barry, the Detroit Lions documentary on Amazon Prime. I watched it the day of the conference championship games. It is a really fun documentary. There's some stuff that I did not know about. And at the end of the documentary, he actually tells his sons, why he just decided to call it quits. And whether you're a Lions fan or not, or football fan or not, I think you'd enjoy the documentary. So it's on Amazon Prime. I'm also in the middle of a JFK documentary right now on Hulu. Very interesting documentary. And I just started a Robert Kennedy documentary on Netflix, like a 4-part series. So pretty interesting. Getting ready to do some more huge 2023 watches before our big best of 2023 episode in a few weeks. So, Craig, what about you? You watch anything that you want to recommend anybody?
Yeah, just like Ed, checked out Leo. Still kind of on my Pokemon movie binge, checking them out, trying to catch up, watching them all from childhood on. Watch football, been watching basketball, watching the Thunder kind of, and they had the 1 seed for a little bit and then in the West. So Super excited about the rest of the season for them. A good person for this episode. And then just a lot of like stuff on YouTube. Oh, and Tekken 8 came out. I've been grinding Tekken 8 hardcore. So
How much have you cried during the Pokemon movies?
there's some moments.
I was about to say, if you don't say at least once or twice, I know you're lying.
Yeah.
Ash's death sucked, bro. Even back then. You're like, why is
Billy?
he so...
Billy. Yeah. But that's pretty much been my stuff lately.
Zach, what about you?
Still continuing True Detective Night Country on Max. I got my 15 films that are like in contention for the top our 2023 review. Rewatch Creed 3, Air, Super Mario Brothers, the movie. Rewatch Rear Window. The big thing I want to highly recommend is Godzilla -1 minus color. They released the black and white version here in America. So good. It gives a whole new depth and perspective to the film. It's awesome. It's
Is it
incredible.
on Max or Apple?
I don't think not yet. Mm-mm.
Is it in theaters then? Where did you see it?
Yeah, they showed it in the theaters. I think actually today's the last day because I think tomorrow tomorrow's the last day.
I'll see y'all
You
later.
can see it in the theater. See you next week. But I mean, in all seriousness, if you guys do get a chance, go check that out. It's really worth it.
I'll probably check it out on either Criterion or whatever they release it on.
Oh, dude, if it comes on Criterion with the color and the black and white version, day one.
If they don't release it in black and white, can I just turn the color contrast down and watch it in black and white that way?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm assuming so. Yeah. I don't know why you couldn't.
I've defeated the system.
You have that option? That's just how my TV is.
At least on tube TVs you could. You know, those big TVs.
This man wants to go back 50 years.
I do. I hate today, dude.
Dang, what's he doing?
I hate the world today. I think the music sucks. I think most of TV shows suck. I think people's attitudes suck. The way everybody feels entitled sucks.
Well, I don't
this
really
has been
feel
another
good being called out like that, sir. I thought we were pretty good friends.
This has been another episode of Johnny Hates Live. Come back next week.
Yeah.
Nice house, fool.
Thanks.
I was wondering what you were doing.
I didn't like the darkness around me.
Let me just slip my wrist now.
You were portraying Johnny's mind or Juan's mind.
Yeah.
I should get like a basketball court or something with like a shark behind me.
There you go.
Like Jaws.
Or like the drug dealer from We're the Millers.
Oh my God.
Sure, yeah.
Let's dig into what we're talking about. Today we're talking about a good person follows Allison, whose life falls apart following her involvement in a fatal car accident, starring Florence Pugh, Morgan Freeman, Molly Shannon, Sylvester O'Connell, directed by Zach Braff, written by Zach Braff. IMDb currently has a 7.1. Rotten Tomatoes is at a 58%. The Metascore is at 50%. With the release date of March 31st, 2023, the budget was $17 million and it grossed $3 million at the box office. Zach, we'll start with you. Do you remember the first time you got to see this? I think you're the only one who checked it out in theaters. So what was it like after that initial watch? And then what was it like revisiting it for the episode?
Yeah, saw it in the theater. We were like 2 of like 10 people in that theater when it came out. Flew under the radar. It was in a very heavy month with like Creed 3, Scream 6, John Wick Chapter 4. This came out the same day as Dungeons and Dragons. I guarantee you this movie is a lot better than Dungeons and Dragons. I walked out and I thought, wow, that was a very, very good film. I didn't even hear about this movie till like a month before it came out, to be honest. And I was totally blown away by it. And this is my first rewatch since the theater, and I was kind of nervous. I was like, oh, is this going to suck? I'm going to have to come on here and be like, sorry guys, we had to do this. But no,
This was your pick.
feelings. Yeah. still had the same feelings. And I'm very, very high on this movie. What about you guys?
Edward?
First time viewing ever. I'd never heard of it before this. So
Craig?
Yeah, I mean, I knew when it came out. To be honest, I thought this movie was not what I watched. My perception of what the movie was is completely different, which isn't a bad thing. It's just like when I was watching it, I was like, oh, like this is a little different than what I had envisioned. So
Same.
But yeah, first time watching it.
I thought a little druggy. I thought a little druggy white girl was going to be abducted by Morgan Freeman.
Take off.
But I don't know. I wasn't really looking forward to it. I was like, okay, I'll watch it. By the end of it, I was like, that was a good watch. That's a good watch. So
I didn't hear about this until Zach sent me the poster and said he went to go see this. And I was like, oh, Florence Pugh? Is it A24? And he was like, no. And then when I saw the poster, I was like, oh, she's getting date raped for sure. I thought that was I thought this movie was going to be like shortly based off the life of Bill Cosby.
No,
but it
didn't stop.
But it was not.
Well, I think if I remember correctly, I sent you the poster and you asked me if it was A24, and I said no. You said fuck off. So I was like, okay, I guess you don't want to see it.
But then when he bought it, this is what really got me is when he bought it, he sent me the digital copy, and I was like, let me check it out. And then I was like, I know it's got to be good if Zach buys it because Zach hardly buys anything that's like a new release, honestly. So then I watched it, I bought it, and I liked it. And now we're doing the episode.
Yeah. So I had no idea it was Zach Braff that did this.
Oh,
and
yeah.
At the end, when I saw the credits, I was like, hold on. Like, this was not. This was
Is that Donald Faison's boy?
Like, shouldn't you be making a T-Mobile internet commercial?
Not just that. I figured, like, I mean, honestly, I don't know what else he's directed, but I didn't feel like this would be his type of cup of Joe. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely.
I think he directed Going Out of Style with Morgan Freeman. He did.
So Mr. Freeman likes him.
He did, yeah.
No, Morgan Freeman just knows he can get an easy $25 million out of this little crazy white boy. Really? Hold on, I'm serious. Who else is casting Morgan Freeman in their motion picture right now? Other than National Geographic doing documentaries or voiceovers. And Zach, we talked about this a little bit a few days ago. We were like, how come the budget is so high? We were like, I couldn't find the budget. So when I finally, broke into my FBI investigation glass, I was able to find out that this movie had a budget of $20 million and it only grossed $3 million. I'm like, why is it so high? Come to find out, it's Mr. Morgan Freeman's asking price.
What was his payout for it?
I think he wanted $5 million for the film.
I mean, when you're paying literally everybody else in the movie,
probably $1 million, if that.
Some cheeseburgers. Yeah. Florence Pugh was probably the second highest at $1 million.
Yeah.
And then everybody else was like, "You're just an add-on. You're a stand-in.
You're lucky to be here."
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll get into the movie. It's a very serious movie at times, but then at times when it's not, it kind of feels like you take a step back and you're almost like there's some comedical range to it sometimes when it's supposed to be serious. And it starts off with like the engagement party. Florence's character Allison is engaged to Nathan. What do you guys think of the guy who played Nathan?
I thought he was solid for. I've never seen him in anything else, so I don't know if this is his first film but I thought he was a solid second option to Florence. There was good chemistry with him.
Yeah. My second time watching this movie, I was worried like Zach. I was like, man, is this going to be a movie where I only remember those two performances together, and then everybody else is like a blur,
Yeah.
like you know.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened on this watch, but it wasn't a bad thing as far as like the other characters. Like the guy who played Nathan was still interesting. Um, Celeste O'Connor, who played Ryan, was interesting. I liked how at the beginning they dressed up Ryan almost to the T as far as a perfect student. And then, like an hour later into the movie, she's the same person playing Ryan, but she looks completely different because of what the character had to go through transformation wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, guys, is it me or did Morgan Freeman almost at times look like he have too much makeup on? You think he's getting that old to where they had to put that much makeup on him? His face almost kind of looked fake sometimes.
I mean, he's 86.
So yeah, I mean,
there probably was some
wouldn't
moments
surprise
where,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like how in the first, like you said, Johnny, Allison is she's happy, she's engaged, she has everything going for her. And then after this wreck, you know, she's literally broken. She's a broken person, a drug addict. She's sitting and she's a junkie. She's in the bathroom watching YouTube tutorials about how to cut her hair, and she does it wrong. It's like, well, all right, I guess we're going forward with this.
Well, let's tell everybody why she's a drunkie and she's a wreck. She ends up having a car accident with Nathan's sister and her husband, and
Ryan's parents,
Ryan's parents, and they lose their life, and she's you know, she survives, but like let's talk about that hospital scene where the police officer is like, you know, when there's a wreck with fatalities, and that's how she finds out is when the police officer announces it like that. And then Molly Shannon, who plays a mother in this movie, I had to sit there and pinch myself multiple times. I'm like, damn, Molly Shannon is that old now to where she's got to play a mom to a 23-year-old. You know, I think that hospital scene doesn't make it, you know, as far as like performance-wise, unless Molly Shannon doesn't like nail it like she did. But what do you guys think of that hospital scene?
I think it pretty much it sets up the emotional crutch of the film, essentially. Obviously, you know, these types of situations happen, and there's survivor's guilt, and essentially, you know, Allison has to spend the rest of the movie and, you know, her life at this point just dealing with the fact that it plays up the idea throughout the film, like, is she responsible? Was it an accident? Was she not paying attention? And she really, up until the final scene, really tries to make excuses or comes up with theories about what really happened. And I kind of like that as the movie went on.
Well, I mean, like you said, stuff like this does happen in real life, as well as, like, you know, there's a big degree of survival's guilt and a lot of that stuff in reality as well. And I mean, almost everybody's on their phone. You see it all the time when you're on the highway. You see it every day. Like, phones are a huge thing in people's lives nowadays. It is what it is. But to be like blaming, I don't think is the right thing. But at the same time, it's kind of like you could have paid attention a lot easier and not been in that lane.
Let's be honest. The dude with the tractor shouldn't be coming out into the road without at least somebody there. So, that part one. Part two, she wasn't really, like, she was on her phone, yes, but it was only to get directions.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's not like, you know what I mean? Like, yes, everybody else is going to see it as her fault, but like,
you're just, it's not like she is on YouTube.
You're not texting somebody trying to. So,
you know, when I first watched it, I went back and I was like, wait a minute. The night before, she was talking about being in bed with Nathan about the gummy. And I thought the gummy was going to come into play about, like, maybe it still being in her system when she was driving. But they didn't bring that back into play. So
that would have been, I mean, that would have been even more of an account right there. You know, just, you know, effects still in your system. When did you take this? Kind of go from there, because some people can't function on it. Some people can.
I didn't even put that together.
I didn't.
Yeah.
So I was like, huh.
Well, the thing that I thought that watching the trailer, it set up the idea that Nathan was in the car. Nathan was the one that was killed in the accident. It took me, I'll admit, 2 viewings to realize that it was Ryan's parents, or like later on in the film, it was much more clearer. It just didn't in the first beginning of it. It wasn't. That's the only nitpick I have of the movie. It didn't really set up the idea that it was her parents that was in the car. So,
yeah.
And then you get the rest of the movie. You see how this one accident impacts 3 people's lives.
Yeah.
It completely switched. Go ahead.
No, more people. I mean, it impacts Daniel,
Nathan,
the grandpa,
Ryan,
Nathan,
Daniel,
Ryan, Allison, her mom.
And that's just the central characters.
The core people, the core characters. Yeah,
that's the biggest part we see for that matter. Alone from anybody else.
I was just talking about how the movie really just follows 3 people and their incident with the accident. Yeah, you get Nathan in there, and you see that he's moved on, and it doesn't really explain who left who.
She does,
until Morgan Freeman says she left your ass.
Yeah.
So,
which is, I mean, kind of crazy, but at the same time, like, I get.
She explains why, though.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, like, I could imagine sitting there and thinking, like, I'm the reminder of he might be thinking I'm his, killer of his part of his family, like constant reminder kind of thing.
And I think one of the
killer in the streets, killer in the sheets.
Oh God. Now, if you want to press that X button down there, no one will be mad. I think one of the best things that this movie represents is the spiral of addiction. How Allison could be fine one moment and just go completely off her rocks because the scene where her and her mom are fighting to get up to the bathroom to get the pills, and she dumps them down the toilet, and she just goes ballistic. That is classic addiction withdrawal, essentially. And then as it continues, she goes to the pharmacy, cusses up the pharmacist. The one that really got me was the drug rep, her friend, that she says, like, hey, do you think you could just, help me out just a little bit? And her friend catches on. It's just like, you need help. Go get help.
The breakfast scene.
Yeah. And then she uses her bachelor party against her.
Past the tip.
The waiter brings out the coffee with tequila in it.
Yeah.
He knew what he was doing. If you put any kind of alcohol in coffee, it's got to be like vodka at least. Fucking alcohol.
Kahlua.
What did you guys think about
that?
No. Well. What did you guys think about the bar conversation where she's in there and she sees her 2 people from high school?
Alex Wolff from Hereditary.
Yeah.
I
shows up.
I thought they were going to rape her. I thought they were going to take full advantage.
Good Lord.
What kind of movie did you think you were going to watch? I guess.
Well, first you thought it was Bill Cosby. Then you thought...
I will say, like, I'm not 100% on this side, but I will say it was going to be like...
It was starting to get a little bit creepy. I will say
like,
I thought they were going to take advantage of it.
Not shown, but
advantage,
this is what happened, kind of thing.
I thought they were going to offer her, to be honest, I thought they were going to offer something, but...
Some PP?
In return. Yes.
Quid pro quo, in other words.
I mean, they said that, you're a junkie, you're at your low. I can get something for you if you really want it. You just got to do something for me. That's how he put it. And then, all he wants is for her to say that she's a junkie so that they feel bigger than her, I guess is what they were wanting. But
because basically in high school, she was the bigger one, supposedly.
Yeah, that was rough.
She was the Swiftie.
Yeah. Nathan was all pro running back. Which, let's be honest, Nathan did not look all pro, so they should have took that out of the script.
Yeah.
That dude looked like he barely played tennis.
Yeah.
He was on the practice squad, okay?
He was the holder. I suck so
so
bad they picked me after the white boys.
Good God.
Hey, we got a white boy as one of the starting running backs in the Super Bowl, so there's that, Hey. But okay, so it shows a lot in this movie, you know, as far as addictions go, as far as, you know, rehab, different things like that, you know, pamphlets to get help with it, opioid addictions. In specifics with this one, it's Oxycontin or Codon.
Oxy.
Okay.
Oxy.
I was like, I know it's one of the two. But
Well, at this point, though, going through the middle of the movie, she snorts and crushes anything she can find.
Yeah.
which is
What do you guys
nuts.
start? You guys start seeing issues with Ryan, where she starts calling Grandpa Daniel. She's meeting people online to have sex with. What do you guys think of the scene where he kicks out the dude for meeting her online?
He's a fuckboy. That's what they call it these days.
When
Like,
that
bro.
lady across the street did that, I was like, all right, you can't like it's just
That's the dark comedy of the movie. It's just like, you know, we're dealing with serious subject matter, but we can have some jokes in between.
yeah.
Which,
It's just like it's something that I was not expecting to be the funny part in that scenario.
I don't know.
Like-
I mean, go ahead.
He's like, oh, you know, we got a statutory rapist. You know, he's like, can I get my clothes? Blah, blah, blah. He's like yelling at him through the window. I thought that was like the funny part. But yeah, then she's like, yeah, boy, I'm like, I'm done.
Well, I mean, I guess if you're looking at Zach Braff and the stuff that he did with Scrubs and some stuff he's done here and there, it's kind of like that
It's
here
the
and
off
there
the
with
wall
him.
comedy that made it. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, but good stuff, but spraying them down and all that good junk. But
Yeah,
you know.
she's like, get your flaccid whatever out of here. I was just like, good God, like going ham on this guy.
Well, you don't think he deserved it?
No, I think he deserved it, but like I
it's
didn't
just like,
expect her to
dang.
be the one going in, like saying all that stuff.
Oh yeah, that's funny. I'm going in.
And I'm gonna go off.
Zach, what made you think like this is obviously an interesting movie? I think we all kind of feel the same way about it going into maybe towards the ending of the film, but like I don't know, man. Like this story, this cast, Florence Pugh was just cast in a big time Marvel movie. Why did this movie literally it didn't even make the money back to pay Morgan Freeman off? Like I mean, and you
No.
can't. I don't even think you can say, you know, that it happened. There was a time to come out in March. I think March was the perfect month for it to come out in. Not a lot of big movies coming out that month. It's a feel good movie kind of that you could probably take your family to go see around Easter time. But like nobody, not even myself, who I'm a big Florence Pugh fan. None of us heard about it going into March of last year.
Mm-mm.
Look, Dungeons and Dragons beat the hell out of it. Okay, that's what happened.
Ugh. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, at least I would think that at least the Florence Pugh aspect of it would have brought a lot more people to it.
or even Morgan Freeman. I mean,
Yeah, but me and Johnny talked about it. This is probably his best performance that he's had in I don't even know how long, to be completely honest. And
Bruce Almighty.
bucket list.
Yeah.
No.
I actually like that movie.
No, I do too. That's why I was just like, well,
I think. Well, Johnny, you say it wasn't a heavy month, dude. We had Creed 3, we had Scream 6, we had John Wick Chapter 4, and those 3 movies by themselves was still like top 4 going into the end of the month.
Oh,
You
that's
know?
true. I forgot about good old fucking John Wick.
Hell yeah. But I think, I don't know, man. It's just one of those things where I'm really surprised they didn't just like release this on like Hulu or, Max or something, just because, while you said it was a $20 million budget, movies nowadays, if they don't think they're going to make any money, they might as well just put them on streaming and be done with it.
I mean, maybe Zach Braff was leaning too much on Florence Pugh's name at the time, and even maybe a bit of Morgan Freeman.
They were dating at the time. That's why.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you know,
God damn.
maybe he was still leaning too much on that.
I don't know. Old Zach Braff got it like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's funny, you know. Go from there. Maybe he expected it to do a hell of a lot better than it did. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I mean, I've never even heard of this movie, and it's not like I'm on cable and all that crap or on live TV really anymore. I've got streaming services predominantly, so I never really seen any promotion about it. So there's that, you know.
To put this in perspective, that weekend when it was released, it came in number 12 at the box office. John Wick Chapter 4, Scream 6, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, Creed 3, 65, Ant-Man, Quantumania.
Say no more, man. Those just beat the hell out of it right there.
Cocaine Bear, Jesus Christ.
Hell, there you go.
You know,
Hey, don't talk like that. Watch your fucking mouth. You think Cocaine Bear is a bad movie?
Oh,
no, I said number 7 out of those.
You wait till we get to our best of the year list. Wait till we get to that episode.
I mean, they're wrong. Like, they're alone, you know. Probably what? Ant-Man's number 3, number 4.
That came out, yeah. Like, and that had been out for almost a whole month. Yeah.
I mean,
so I don't know, dude. It's just one of those things where it's just you had a good story, you had a good cast, you had a lot of the elements you need to make a good movie, and it just didn't
work out.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, I just don't think the promotional value is in it very much. Like I said,
there was no promotional value. I didn't even see a preview for this on like television or anything.
My point exactly. You get in what you give. You get in what you put out. And he put out shit. He didn't get too much. I mean,
some directors, I've noticed some directors, regardless of the success of it, they just want to tell a story. And they don't care if it succeeds or fails. And maybe this is just one of those stories that he wanted to tell. So
that's true.
Potentially.
What'd you guys think about? Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say I don't know what you're gonna bring up. I was just gonna say, what did you guys think about the scene where she goes to the AA meeting and takes half a pill, then walks in and sees Morgan Freeman?
I was gonna bring
all the emotion starts coming back for her.
Same thing I was gonna bring up. I thought it was a pretty fun, not fun like scene, but like,
well done scene.
Well done, yeah. I was really happy. I was really happy for at least the effort that she at least tried to put towards, even though she needed a little encouragement to get in. But I also think the interesting part about this is, at least for me, I probably wasn't paying attention, but this is where you also kind of find out that Morgan Freeman also had addiction problems, correct?
Yeah. He's an alcoholic. He'd been sober for 10 years. Yeah.
I think one thing that kind of gets messed up in this movie is the point of weaning, because weaning basically means gradually taking off, not cold turkey, suck it up.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I will say the weaning part of this movie is, I mean, they do show it. You know, you would think, you know, Allison's goal is to come clean. She starts, you know, her idea of clean is taking half a pill instead of a full pill, and then walking in and saying, you know, I'm good, I'm not high. But then at the diner scene, which is also a really good just character development scene, is, you know, he point blank asks, "Are you high right now?" And she says no, and he says, "Allison, I've been a cop. I was a cop for like 40 years. I know."
And he's been an addict for 50.
Yeah.
But at the same time, perception's different. You know what I mean? So her perception may be, no, I'm not. You know, it's only half, you know, to where his perception is like, well, it touched your tongue. So, yeah, you are, you know, kind of thing. And I'm not saying it's right what she did. I'm not saying that at all. But, you know, you've got to take it as far as like weaning is just gradually getting off that roller coaster, not just jumping out, you know, whenever you are scared, I guess. Not the same thing, but just a metaphorical reference or thought.
But, you know, that goes, you know, I was talking about the depiction of addiction in this. That's a true nature of that issue is, you say you're like Allison comes home and says, I want to get clean. I want to be better. She sees Daniel and almost goes, off a rocker again. Daniel tries to convince her, stay strong.
Yeah.
She sees Ryan and goes off another binge. It's just, it's just awful roller coaster of addiction that, by the time we get to the end of the movie, I really thought this movie was going to end, just jumping ahead, that she was going to die of an overdose. Honestly, that's how this movie was going to end.
It was getting to that point. She almost did.
You know what this movie kind of reminded me of? It was, have any of you guys ever seen 4 Good Days with Mila Kunis?
No.
Mm-mm.
It's a Hulu movie, but it also got a Blu-ray release. That this is kind of what that reminded me of.
Well, I mean, with Ryan, for that matter, when they met back up, it was probably a very hard thing as far as like for the characters, because Ryan's got to deal with, now this is my parents' murder in her eyes, and she has to deal with, yep, this kid confirmed. This kid thinks I really just bye, thing, and I just think it's great, and it's just like, it's not how it was. It was a very, very freak accident thing, and yeah, she's like, yeah, it's one of those things to where you can't repair something.
That dinner scene where Daniel tries to convince her to stay for dinner, and it's just pure awkward silence. And Ryan comes out and says, "How do you feel about killing my parents?" It's just like, oh, damn, firing bullets.
One thing I that kind of irked me, and maybe that's how he was supposed to be, is Daniel felt very manipulative. Like it kind of felt like he was wanting to give her a chance. Kind of felt like at times he was trying to make her feel a certain way. It was just very weird how Daniel was handling that relationship with Allison.
I think he was trying to push her out of her comfort zone and trying to push her into current life and the possibility of going in a better direction, for that matter, for herself.
I know, but
I see what you mean on that.
I agree with that, but by the time we get to the final climax and he is just cussing her out outside the party, he is drunk by that point. I get that, yeah. But at the same time, his true feelings about her finally come out. It's like, no, you killed my daughter. I can't get her back. It's your fault. Effing own it, essentially. Yeah. And it's a very well acted scene. It's, by the time you realize, you feel bad for Alice's character, but at the same time, as an audience member, you're just like, I kind of agree with Daniel in certain aspects.
Yeah, I didn't agree with Daniel. Not with the deliverance.
Yeah, not the deliverance.
Well, not with the deliverance, no, but just like the idea that she needs to take ownership of what happened.
I think mainly the ownership is the more get off of your bullcrap, get off of your pity train, and face your facts, face your fear of making any and everyone around make you hate yourself. Not everybody hates you. They just don't understand what the hell gone on. You and 2 other characters who are not here anymore do.
At the same time, like, yeah, the deliverance wasn't as great as, you might have hoped for how they had built that relationship throughout the movie. But he dealt with that. He came to the realization that he beat his kid. And he even said it in the AA meeting. So if anybody knows about, like, maybe the next step in getting through everything is owning your mistake, and like instead of like blaming it on somebody else, you own your mistake, you're able to get past it and be like, look, I own it. It was me. Now I'm not hiding behind some sort of facade to dull what actually happened. So like I said, the deliverance and everything might not have been the best because he was drunk, but I think at the root of what he was trying to say, he was correct.
Yeah.
I also, I mean, it almost feels hypocritical though, because like he's telling her to own up to a lot of stuff, but even at the beginning of the movie, before Daniel finds out about the wreck, he's not owning up to whatever the bad relationship is between him and Nathan, because him and Nathan haven't been on good terms even before the wreck. Because he looks down and says, "Why should I answer that? I thought we're not talking." And obviously, it points to him being a bad dad with alcoholism and stuff like that. So,
Right.
I mean, this goes way deep beyond. So I feel like
But
the real
at that point, that was Ryan not wanting, or not Ryan, Nathan not wanting to accept the apology.
Right.
Because I think Daniel full well knew what had happened. He said it in AA meetings. I think he had tried to do it, but him and Nathan just couldn't get on that same term.
So you think when Daniel was drunk and he told her to pretty much go spit, do you think that's the last time? Spoiler alert, because Daniel dies. Do you think that's the last time maybe Florence Pugh's character Allison sees Daniel before the funeral or before the whole little get together?
I'd say yeah. I'd say that's probably the last time.
I would agree with that. Yeah. Because no, that's not true. When she is celebrating her 1 year sober, he's in the room. That they don't have any words, but he's just there, like congratulating her, like through eye contact.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But he's only there for like 2 seconds. They make eye contact and he's out.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I think at that point,
he didn't have like a real conversation though.
Yeah.
The way you're talking, yeah. Something else I really, really liked, and I kind of wish they had delved a little deeper in it, was the model train set of how Daniel kind of wanted to see his life. Like when he takes Allison down there and says, "Oh, what are those two characters?" That's me. That's my dad picking me up from the train station after I got back from Vietnam. And she says, "Oh, that's a very sweet moment," but in reality, his dad was passed. Yeah, his dad was passed out in the backyard, drunk. And you can kind of see like the trickle effect of how his dad was an alcoholic, and I think he said that he beat him or his mother or something like that. And now he did it to Nathan. And it sets up a thread of Nathan is wearing a cochlear implant. And you kind of, and Nathan lies about it, but then Allison finds the truth out from Daniel saying, like, I hit him so hard that he lost his hearing.
Yeah.
Come to find out, this is just like a prequel of Black Snake Moan.
Oh my god. So who is the JT character?
That's Zach Braff directing on out in the
Yeah. One thing about this movie though is just like it just hits you with waves of like I was watching it and I was like, man, she's in a terrible situation. And then it just goes back to, when she finally opens up in the AA meeting about how everything was not fine, so to speak, but her life wasn't in the downward spiral that it was. She was like, I was sober. I wasn't doing this. We were on our way to look at wedding dresses. We were having fun, blah, blah, blah. They were talking about, Ryan being a soccer star and everything. And then the next moment, in the blink of an eye, one event completely turns your life around. And that can happen to anybody, and it's just, you're watching this entire movie play out where it's just like bad thing after bad thing after, she's at a bar trying to drink a tequila at like 10 a.m. She gets meth. She's, trying to commit suicide. She's doing these pills to numb her life. And it's just like, that was one moment that completely shifted everything. And it just kind of like, when you think about it that way, it's just like a shock every time you thought about it to me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, Craig. The cinematography of how when she's high, just like laying in her bed, it's just kind of like the upward down spiral of the camera. It's just kind of like this hellish roller coaster ride of addiction and what taking those type of drugs can do to you. And like how she's like flip flopping on the bed and just like, I think there was one point where she's like sleeping in the bathroom floor or something like that because she thought she could find more pills in there. It's just. Yeah, I'm truly surprised that maybe I'm hyping it up too much, but I'm kind of surprised Florence didn't get like some credit, some awards nomination for this because I thought she's excellent in it.
Yeah, I think just her being able to kind of portray that
persona.
the persona, but like she's able to be really high in this movie at the beginning. She's able to be really low. She's able to be super mellow, like when she's on drugs. She's able to, she a wide range in this movie. So I do agree with you.
I think then you see her at the end where she's like a completely different person.
Yeah,
she's
Were you guys thinking when she found out about Daniel's death that she was going to go back on the pills, or it was just going to lead to a down spiral again?
I didn't think she was doing that. I did have a question though. She woke up when she was sober before she found out about Daniel, and there was like a baby, like a child, playing in the room with her while she was sleeping. Did her and Nathan get back together and have a baby, or who's
no?
kid?
That was her
the
sponsor.
the AA sponsor.
The sponsor.
Okay.
That was her kid.
Yeah, because that was the night. That was the morning after Daniel and she was at the rave and everything. That was the morning after. She had taken her back to her house and then woken up on the AA sponsor's couch.
The couch. Yeah.
Because the way the movie ended, it kind of teased like maybe they were going to start talking again.
I think it was supposed to be a reconciliation,
or maybe they were just going to be friends.
Yeah, because the way the ending of the movie is she's down there reading the note at the train station, comes up top after he says he agreed to come back until she goes to college. He's going to need help with her, and she comes out and sits down next to Ryan. That's the ending of the movie. So I think the way him talking to Allison's mom saying that they broke up 4 months ago, so that at that moment Nathan's single, that she's doing really well. They had both kind of talked at the AA place, not the AA place, but the rehab place. Maybe there will be one point in time where life can bring us back together. So I think all the points kind of led to that moment where it's like it is the perfect opportunity for them to kind of, there was a massive bump in the road in their life.
Yeah.
But after everything is all said and done, they are in the perfect opportunity to be back together in the style that they were. Yes, there's a massive, kind of
difference,
bump in the road,
darkness in their past, bump in the road.
Yeah.
But it's something that they've both gotten through. They both had to deal with it in their own ways. It's not like, it was a family thing. They've all dealt with it some way or another. And I think there's just kind of like, it was heartening to see, to me, like going back to what I said earlier about, going back and thinking, all this is because of one event. But it's also showing that there is light at the end of the tunnel if you're strong enough and you're willing to do everything necessary to get to that point. Because they're back at the point where they can have everything fixed.
Well, and they also, Daniel sets up the idea, and he's talking about it in the diner scene where she sees his tattoo on his wrist or whatever. It's a morphati. Yeah. It's essentially to love one's fate, and that's essentially what Daniel's final message to her at the end of the movie is. You can the cards you're dealt in life. You really have to, as much as you don't like them, as much as they suck, you really have to embrace them because, you can make it like Allison, a bad situation and just completely turn it around,
Or, I think a lot of it had to do with Ryan as well, because they were trying to go ahead and get her back on life's track of the track that her parents had set her on and were going on. And she needed that female and male role models in her life, those stable guardians, if you will, to keep her on the right path, because we've seen how she even spiraled down a dark path too. So I mean, it's kind of like one was saying earlier, it's a story about mainly three people going down different paths that two are dark and one is kind of trying to help the others figure out in a way. But
that rave scene where it's finally revealed that Ryan tried to bring Nathan and Allison back together, sets Allison on a trail or down a binge again.
Yeah.
But you really do believe that Ryan had good intentions, but it was just so hurtful for Allison to say, like, why would you do that? I'm I'm not healed yet. Essentially, that's terrible.
Well, and at that moment, you know, you don't know, because at the coffee scene, it's still a fragile relationship at that moment. You don't know if there's good intention, and you know, she kind of says things in a way to make it seem like she's trying to hurt her, and you know, it's eventually they kind of like, no, I didn't mean it that way, you know, go to this party with me. And then it happens again. So I could see from her point of view where, you know, you're in this state of darkness, you don't really have any outside support or anything like that, and this happens. It's kind of like, you messed up my life by doing this part, now I'm gonna really mess up yours. So yeah, it's just
out of curiosity, Craig, I know you didn't, obviously you hadn't really heard about this movie and you didn't know what it was about. What'd you think it was about before you started watching it?
I thought it was going to be like just pure looking at the poster and kind of remembering bits and pieces. I thought Morgan Freeman was going to be some sort of like a cancer center, and they were both going to find friendship in each other when they had nobody else, and they were both kind of go along that route. That's what I thought it was. Or maybe like he had cancer and she was there to support him, or she had it and he was there. That's the route I thought it was. I had no idea this was. That's why I'm like watching the movie. I'm like, this is
that's
a lot
a good
darker than
too.
what I thought. Yeah,
that's a sequel.
That's the one with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Seth Rogen. What is that?
50-50. Yeah,
that's that movie.
Yeah, that's a good movie, by the way. So. But yeah, I think, like I said, I really thought you could have ended this movie on just a dour note, and not Florence Pugh dies instead of Morgan Freeman. It's kind of Ryan's dealing with not only her actions towards Allison, but just like the thought of she was trying to do herself better, and it wasn't. I shouldn't blame her for my parents' death, essentially. But I liked the way it ended, and the fact that, you know, as much as shitty roads that each Daniel and Allison had to go through their life, you just have to own it and just try to move forward.
And I think, you know, there were many, many different ways that this could have ended. But I think the route that Zach Braff was trying to say is like, it doesn't matter how dark of a time you're currently in. If you put in the time and the effort and you surround yourself with the right people and you seek forgiveness and you own up to it and you move past it, like there is light at the end of the tunnel. You don't have to be stuck in the rut that you're in. You don't have to be stuck, you know, doing the stuff that you're currently doing, or, you know, I thought it wasn't technically necessarily tough to watch, but at times it's like, man, like she's really in a dark spot and it's kind of hard to watch this. And then you see it at the end. It's like that makes me feel better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I will say, like, on the rewatching this, I forgot how dark this movie got at some points, to be honest, since it had been like almost a whole year since I've seen it. Does anyone have any negatives about the movie other than maybe just plotting or character wise or anything like that?
I mean, sometimes it felt 2 hours. You know, you could probably say you could take out like a few scenes, but even then, on the positive note, you can't take out the bar scene because it just shows you how far
down she's
willing to go. Yeah. So, I mean, not really. I don't know if I would take out any scenes, but there was probably once or twice that it really did feel like, man, does this movie really need to be 2 hours and like 10 minutes?
I honestly, once I was in and was watching it and understood the storyline, like I said, I wasn't looking forward to watching it just because I wasn't sure what it was. I had seen it a few times on Vudu, and I was like, I want to check it out just because it's Florence Pugh, Morgan Freeman. But like when I turned it on, I didn't know what I was expecting, so I was kind of like sitting back in the chair, like, But I was hooked, dude. Once I found out what the story was, and I caught the characters, and I was hooked. So
yeah. What about you, Ed?
I mean, same thing. Just a little bit too much on some of the doting, but I mean, other than that, nothing really.
Yeah.
But that would be the biggest gripe, I guess I would have. But at the same time,
when you're dealing with a story about drug addiction, how much is too much down doting?
Well, it's not even just that, but it's like the whole, murdered this, done that, you're the killer, murder. Because I mean, it's not like she literally took a knife to their throats. It's not like she tried to run into it. It's a simple fact of neglect. She is not paying attention and gone from there. I'm not saying she should be awarded a medal or should be safety superhero of the month or something like that. Like, I'm not saying that at all. But,
what I felt, and they kind of did, but when Ryan was talking about how she didn't have friends at her school because nobody understood her situation, I thought when she met Allison, there was going to be a better relationship there than what there was. Like,
mutual
there was
bonding.
still a relationship, but it was, she's like,
was a rocky
you're
one.
you're my parents' killer.
Yeah.
You did this, you ruined my life, you did that. But I was like, just a few scenes ago, you're talking about how nobody understood you because nobody's taken the time to completely understand your situation. And I was like, man, that kind of sucks. But we're on this end. We were able to see everything, not technically be inside of it. So
yeah, and I mean that's losing both parents in a murder, and then all of a sudden the one who survived out of 3 in the same car is standing on your doorstep in your living room, and it's just like, okay, this is great. I can imagine on that, but yeah.
Few favorite scenes. Zach, do you want to go first?
The diner scene between Allison and Daniel, it's just great acting just between two really good actors, just the two characterizations of like, I'm fucked up, you're fucked up, how are we supposed to get through this, essentially through life. And honestly, like, Allison's like just her addiction scenes, whether she's at the pharmacy or with that drug rep. I think Florence is able to sell that to the nail, whether she's happy at the beginning of the movie, at the end of the film, or at the lowest point of her life. That's what makes Florence just such a great actress. She can do both with just a flip of the switch. And the train model scene, I just think that's take your life and put it in just these little models that you wish life had been.
Yeah.
And What about you guys?
Ed, what do you have a favorite scene?
I mean, honestly, it's not that it's just, I think, the best scene, but kind of a scene that did kind of stand out to me a bit was the bar scene with the 2 old classmates, I guess. That seemed a bit more real in a lot of ways, on some different heights, I guess. I could imagine going through that would be pretty humoring or humbling, no matter what side of the spectrum you're on for popularity or lone wolfness, I guess. But yeah, I'd say that, or
you never know what life's going to bring you.
No, and then to be brought to that level and then have to go ahead and punch yourself in the face with, that's crazy. Yeah. Just kind of crazy on that.
I think this movie is built on 2 performances and 2 performances only. And I think that's what keeps everybody intrigued and just like excited about the two performances. So anytime you see Florence Pugh and Morgan Freeman together, I think those scenes are just, they're obviously what you come to see this movie for. But if I had to pick one out as well, it would probably be, like Zach said, I think somebody said the AA meetings, and the conversations between Allison and Daniel. And then even when Allison finds out about Nathan's hearing problem, um, and then when Daniel explains to Allison downstairs about what happened with his dad and stuff like that. So um, this movie is solely based about these two performances, and that's what you're going to go see this movie for, and they nail it. Craig, what about you?
Yeah. So the performances and the scenes are good, but it's the overall feeling that you receive when you're watching it. It's when she finally opens up in the AA meeting, and it's when Daniel opens up in the AA meeting, and he kind of explains everything, and you're sitting there, and it's like, why are you at AA? Are you here because of me? And so on and so forth. And then you find out that, oh, he really is. He used to be an alcoholic. This is what he did. He has a dark past, so you can kind of relate to it. So those two parts, the part when she reads the note and he explains what the amor fati means, and then the scene where she's finally done with her time at the rehab center. It's like it's just those scenes that I think kind of it's dealing with your issue, recovering from your issue, and then being able to read that note and get to the other side of everything. So I think those three scenes, 4 if you count Daniel's at the AA, but I think it's like ABC. That's your straight line of what this movie is really all about. Mm-hmm. So
the highs are very high and the lows are very low in this movie.
Yeah.
Star rating. I'll go first. No, Zach, you go first. This was your pick. What's your rating?
I agree with you, Johnny. The two lead performances. The story. I'll even say the cinematography with the addiction scenes. The overall feeling of the film, like you were saying, Craig, with the highs and lows of this. I'll just go and say it. 9 out of 10 for me. It's one of my favorite movies of 2023. So, what about you guys?
I'm gonna give this movie a 7. Initially, after I watched it the first time, I kind of had the same feeling of Craig. I liked it. I loved it, and the performances were strong and led me to believing and knowing it was a good story. The second time after picking it up and watching it again, I still felt the same way. But there were some moments where I was just kind of twiddling my thumbs. So maybe it's the rewatchability for me. I'm not sure. But I'm going to give it a 7. I still really enjoyed it. Morgan Freeman was good. Florence Pugh was amazing. The direction of the movie was good. But this time around, I really liked it. I didn't love it this time. Still really good performances. So 7.
Cool.
Ed, what about you?
I'm going to have to kind of roll on your train. 7 as well. Very good. Promotional value sucked ass on it, so I think that killed a little bit of it. I did know what to expect of this movie, so there's that, but at the same time, that's a good thing. And it's a good movie, but I agree. I don't know how many times I'd pick this movie. I can see why some people would love it. I could see why some people would like it. And I could see why some people would never watch it or even get 20, 30 minutes in and be like, yep, nope. Because I'm sure this can hit on some people's triggers or sensitive side as far as like any addiction goes or anything like that. I can see that. But at the same time, I do think it's a good movie that kind of shows like, hey, this is what can happen if you go down this spiral. I'm not saying
think it's relatable.
Yeah. I'm not saying this should be played in DARE meetings, but like it's a movie of reality in a lot of ways. So
Craig, what about you?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 7. I think it has very strong points. I think if you're looking, it snuck up on me and I still enjoyed it. So if you're looking for something that, like you said, is relatable, if you are going through not just addiction, but kind of anything like a dark time in your life and you want to watch a movie or something as a getaway I think this would probably be, depending on what exactly you're dealing with. I do think this one would be a good one though, because it does explain and show like even at your darkest times there is light at the end of the tunnel. Oh yeah. I think the performances were good. I was all eyes on the movie when I was watching it. I do think there are some points that some parts in the movie that kind of, it's like, okay, it didn't need to be that vulgar at that point in time. I do know you want to show like passion and some points here and there, but I just feel like some parts took away from the overall feel of the movie when you didn't really need them there. But still, I think it's a very strong 7. I probably will rewatch it. I don't know how soon, but I think a second watch for me might be kind of it. It's not a movie that's very rewatchable, but it's it is what it is.
And some of my 9 is just get to see it. It's a theater experience. Get to see like an independent film like this on a big screen it brings a little bit more enjoyment to it.
I think it's better than 3 million at the box office. Better. It's definitely better than 3 million at the box office.
I thought Zach, what you were going to say. The one that made it a 9th for me was Florence Pugh getting high dancing at the beginning of the movie.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Your opinion's your opinion, man.
I thought my notes right here. So
it's not like we go ahead and judge you just because we think you're stupid because this movie. No, not at all. It's your opinion.
Odd times, Daddy.
It's just like a lot of the movies that I watch, you probably don't like, or I know some that I watch and like. Juan definitely don't like.
Johnny, I know you said you like the mom.
Marley Shannon.
I didn't like the mom.
Superstar.
When she's outside of the door, like,
what?
And I know this is part of her character, but when she's outside of the door talking about hi sharks, I was like, bro, go away.
Yeah.
Like,
and
she's
like,
just so...
and that's the scene where Florence says, like, she's looking in the mirror. She says, "You couldn't even make it one day without taking a pill." Yeah.
She's like, "I hate you," and I've been there. Look in the mirror and just like, can't believe you've, done whatever you've done the last couple of days. It's like everybody's been there.
I gotta get in front of a mirror and just start going in on some Dusty Rhodes promos.
I thought
once I start saying something like, I've wined and dined with kings and queens, daddy, and I've slept in the alleys and dined on pork and beans. Once you do that, and you're like, okay, I don't have to eat pork and beans today. I might be able to have a Whopper with double meat, double cheese, extra mayo, like Edward over here. Then I know I've made it.
Is it your goal to put McDonald's in every Burger King in every episode we do? Essentially.
Whopper.
Speaking of, I've done my good deed for the day. Next week, though, we end January with Zach's pick. We start February with Zach's pick. This might be the Mandela effect, but I could have sworn, Zach, we've talked about Casablanca.
Pretty sure no.
We talked about it in passing. Like, we thought about doing it a couple times, but we just never have.
1942. Humphrey Bogart. This one's for you, kid.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
And we don't have to wait a week. We talk about it live this Sunday, February the 4th.
Hell?
I'm excited. Zach, what about you? What's one of the main reasons you wanted to pick this movie?
Who's calling for a pizza?
It's one of my favorite movies, and it's almost damn near 85 years old. So it's just one of those things that I've been wanting to talk about it for a while. So
we're talking
For
about
85 years?
Sunday.
It's been
Should be fun.
84 years.
So don't forget, guys, if you're watching us on Swap Productions YouTube channel or Facebook Live, it will be this Sunday, 7 p.m. Another new episode 282, Casablanca. So
Blue 282.
282.
we're only 18 episodes away from 300, essentially. Wow.
What movie are we doing for that?
300.
Oh, I wonder what.
For real.
Juan's going to be extremely happy about that one.
Oh, have we done? We haven't done 300 yet. have we?
Oh,
No.
I
we
think
will
that'd
go
be-
in
that'd be
18
good.
weeks.
18 weeks.
Spartans, what is your profession? Oh.
Podcast
See,
professional.
there you go. We just did 300, so we can do something else.
Dude, no, it's the workouts, the builds. Okay, it's huge. It's huge.
It's gonna be huge.
Huge.
Ed starts mocking that guy. That's how you know it's time to leave. All right, guys. Well, any other final comments for a good person before we leap on out of here?
Stay off drugs. Stay in school, kids.
Very, very politely. Very nice said, Ed. There you go.
I mean-
that's the end of the episode.
If only you were there, you would have saved her from going through all that trouble.
Yeah.
And stay off your damn phones. It could, man, it could result in a lot of stuff you don't want to deal with. You can't handle the truth.
I blame the guy driving the tractor.
Of course, you blame the Mexican.
That's-
Wow!
Uh,
Wow!
that's-
Oh my god!
All right. So is that the 12th racist joke we've done this episode?
No,
What?
I did not say that. I said the driver. The
I do not like Wall, and I hate Wall.
Yeah.
What is good for
Rush Hour.
Dude, hey, for real though.
There's your next franchise, Johnny, from Rush Hour.
You know, I'm still debating on what to do next. I got real close to putting Alien in, and I thought I was going to go down the Alien path.
I got one for you.
And then I'm like, what about Rocky? I want to go down that Rocky path, but I still don't know what franchise to go after.
I got one.
I'm
Scary
gonna
movie.
fucking hang up on you. I watched the first 4 last year, and the first 3 were laughable. I laughed a few times, but 4, I wanted to legit hang myself.
Oh, you didn't see 5?
No, I wasn't going to.
I didn't know there was a 5th one.
Anytime you got Shaq acting in a movie, it should be burned. But I don't know.
Shazam!
Because
I don't know what
Shazam,
franchise to
my
go
bad.
after.
That
So
was
if
Sinbad.
If anybody wants to help me, by all means, hit us up on the social media. What franchise should I go after next? You can
And
also
why?
A24 bench.
yeah,
He's watched every A24.
it's true.
Literally
But not-
every single A24.
But not lately. He can do
No.
A24 as a whole.
There you go.
Yeah.
Did anybody watch that video, the YouTube link I sent like 3 weeks ago?
Dude, the last time I opened up a link to you, it was Buzz, look an alien, and a guy smacking his Shazam. I'm not opening any other links that you sent me.
Okay, it was about
Buzz,
a
look,
comedian.
alien.
It was a comedian doing a bit over how people watch A24 movies and how they are when they're an A24 aficionado, such as yourself.
Oh, okay.
And it made me think of you, and I thought it'd be pretty funny. So
All right. Well, see, you do send
You
good
know.
things sometimes, I guess.
sometimes.
You might have to explain it, because so you don't always send guys slapping their cocks.
No, sometimes I send wholesome jokes or
I've
wholesome
never
videos.
opened a link Ed has sent me. I'll put it that way. He sends me something on Instagram, and I'm just like, LOL.
Nope. Give me a look at it.
I'm sure it's funny, Ed. No, I'm just kidding. I've
And if
seen
you
it
guys send, if you guys are sending me or sending or tagging me on Insta or on the TikTok, I can't get into that either. I've had to get a whole new phone recently, and I can't.
Bitch, me too.
You don't have your little flip phone anymore?
I
Y'all are
mean,
ballers.
for now,
Oh.
but
Don't
you
send
know.
it in. What are they going to do? Cancel your service?
No, but it's not going to give me the discount, which is
You don't-
like 2/3 or
You
3/4 of
don't
the
have
phone.
to pay for the phone.
You know what you do, Ed?
What's
you
that?
you put in like a weight in the box and send the weight back to Verizon, and then say that it got stolen along the way.
No, they're having me drop it off at a Verizon retailer.
Tell them you got mugged on the way in.
Wow.
I
Okay,
did-
so I
I'll
need.
punch you in the face.
I was about to say I need one or two or all three of you bastards to meet me over in Midwest City. Then
What movie is that where
Midwest
he's like,
City.
shoot me in the leg or shoot me in the arm, and he like shoots him in the freaking thigh or something? What movie is
Is
that?
it,
8 Mile.
Good
No.
guys.
Oh, is it The Good Guys? The Good Guys? Yeah.
Yes, with Ryan
Ryan
Gosling and
Gosling?
everything. Yeah, he's like
Yeah.
make it look believable. Yeah,
But yeah, we're a few weeks away, man, from the Oscars. A few weeks away from our top 5 plus 5 of 2023. So February, March going to be a fun few weeks. Any excitement on the way to Casablanca, or are we just going to save the excitement for Sunday?
I'm
I
really excited.
I can already tell Craig and Ed won't be there, Zach.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. It won't surprise me, to be honest.
Adley's birthday is Sunday, so we'll see.
Oh, there you go.
That's what I was gonna say.
The Super Bowl is next Sunday, so no, I'm just kidding.
We're going to record early before the game, so
Oh,
That's
don't
fine.
worry about that.
That works for me.
I
But
mean, shit.
Other than that, guys, Casablanca Sunday. Any final thoughts for a good person? No.
Nope.
Nah, should be good.
All right, guys. I think we've taken up enough of your time. Thanks for joining us. Go check out the social medias to win a free digital copy of A Good Person. And we'll see you guys Sunday for Casablanca on another brand new episode of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.
Later.
Bye.